Hey, hey, I'm trying to catch it. On Saturday, he was walking so fast I couldn't catch up with him. What's going on? Everything all right?
Test one, two. All right, for those online, we will begin started in just a few minutes. We'll be getting started in just a few minutes. How's everybody doing today? Is the food good? It looked like it is because everybody got their heads down. Nobody looking up here. I put my phones down there by Coach Colzie. I was going to put my wallet down there, but I knew Leroy was here today, so I kept that in my pocket. It's a joke for today. Once again, it is indeed a pleasure to be in front of you, Rattlers. How many people made it out to the Orange and Green spring game the other day? All right. How many people split it up and went to softball and baseball? Well, we had a lot going on Saturday, and it was a great day on campus. It kind of reminded me of the old spring sports carnival we used to have, because everything was going on, and students were visiting from out of town.
STEM Day.
Yep, and STEM Day inside of the Lawson Center. So it was a great day to be a Rattler, as it always is. But it was an exceptionally great day on Saturday. Today we're very excited for several reasons. Today we will be awarding to our Grand Rattlers their t-shirt and their certificate, the Grand Rattlers that are here. Reverend Wilson is sorting that out, so we're going to give us some time, so we're going to do that a little later. Also, our polo shirts, which got delayed because they got intertwined with the t-shirts. If you ordered on the second order of polo shirts, we will have all of those on next Wednesday. And if you didn't order, you can actually get in on a rush order, and yours will be here next week, but you gotta see Wilma today because she is leaving here to solidify to make sure we have everything for that second order. All right? Second of all, when we started this campaign, we actually started it kind of backwards because we were kind of thrown into it. But we Rattlers, we jump in and going. And so our time where you normally are going and getting the seed money to start the campaign, we've already passed that. We had to go full speed ahead with the public campaign. I'm proud to say that we have some great meetings set up with some possible very big donors. And we are excited about that because that's what we're going to be concentrating on over the next 2 months. We will have to go visit some of these people out of town, and well, all of them actually. So we're looking forward to trying to attain our goal of making the $1 Million campaign actually work. I want to thank every single person who sold into this dream, because it's much easier to talk to somebody when I can now tell them we've got $110,000 collected and another $40,000 pledged. It's much easier to gain money when you got skin in the game. So I want to thank you all and give yourselves a round of applause. The second thing that I want to talk about is, hey, Kimberly. Hey, Kim. Got it, going through papers. We had a meeting, a great meeting with the foundation on yesterday. And as you all know, we are a big part of the nutrition for our student athletes, and everybody in here has expressed how important that nutrition campaign is. We, in that vein, the money that is going to the nutrition, we will count that as donations toward our $1 million as well. That was always the goal. But I want to make a special plea that we continue to replenish our nutrition fund. Upon meeting yesterday, and yes, I don't just come on Wednesdays. This job has a lot of responsibility. So we went and had a meeting with Roy Moore and Kimberly Brown at the FAMU Foundation yesterday. And as we started going through things, we realized we had not taken something into account. we had dedicated $2,000 a month for the nutrition campaign. And we were going along good. What went off like a light bulb in there as we were negotiating yesterday was that athletics was going over the $2,000 mark. Well, as I'm listening to Roy talk, I'm listening to the foundation talk, I realized at no point had we considered the rising cost of food. Athletics was continuing to get the amount that they were getting before, but we all know if you've been to the grocery store lately, what you normally get is not costing that anymore at all. So in that vein, I did a immediate poll with our board of the Eddie Jackson 220 Quarterback Club, and we've decided to up our commitment to athletics to $2,500 a month to account for the rising food costs, just like we experience at our own homes. When they go down there to get the items for those teams, they're experiencing that as well. So if we're gonna support, we need to support not just on paper, we need to support for real. So we're going to up our support for our nutrition campaign. If you are online, we want you to donate to the nutrition campaign by Cash Apping 220 QB Club. Cash App 220 QB Club. I'm gonna put this in the Cash App because I need to see you all online to participate. I need y'all help today. Hold on. All right, if you're watching us remotely on the internet, please help us. No donation is too small or too big. We need to make sure that our student athletes have the nutrition. We have seen direct impact of how that has assisted our student athletes to being great. And let me tell you, I can't wait to hear Selvin's report because my goodness, it's a lot of W's for him to report. A lot of W's for him to report. And I'm just going to hope, I'm not going to even say that. I just got a little excited because of Masters in golf, but I'm going to save that for Selvin. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Executive Director of the Rattler Boosters, Mr. Selvin Cobb.
Thank you, Vaughn. Good afternoon, fellow Rattlers. And as Vaughn was saying earlier, if you have been on campus Saturday, Friday night, and then Saturday morning to see the amount of activities that were really going on campus, we got in. I had to be at we had a Rattler Boosters meeting that started at 10, but I had to be there early, so I actually got there at, I guess it was about 8:45, and I couldn't find a spot there in at that time of morning over at the Tooks Recreation Center. It was all filled because there was an AAU tournament going on. Not a lot of people knew about that, but there was an AAU tournament going on. Basketball. And then you come out of there, and I walked over, I couldn't get out, so I walked over to the softball game, and because I had cars parked in the front, cars parked behind me, so I just walked over to the softball game. Then I watched the softball game, then I went over to the gym, and I saw all these buses parked, and they had a STEM day. Band was there playing. I mean, and when I left there, I went down to they had a youth activity at the students at a thing at the old Paddock Fort, and they were there. Student National Alumni, and they were there. So it was, and then after that, I had to go back and go to the football game after that. And then we had the Cupid Shuffle, and I mean, it was just a great time to be a Rattler. And I wish you all that weren't here, I wish you all would, I wish that, I got a film that, Vaughn put together, and it was an excellent, well, it really was a presentation. It had it went all the way back to the Set Friday. You know, when I was in school, we didn't have Set Friday. Every day was a set. But if you had never seen Set Friday, you should really get out there and see it. If you would send me a message, and I'll send this video to you. It was just a great time to watch all of that out there. But that was the reason why I came up here. I came up here to do sports highlights. So I got carried away. Give you some good news. And with that, I mentioned that we had a booster meeting. We will be having elections come June. And if you're interested in being on a member of the board of directors, see me or any other Rattler boosters, and we'll see about getting you on the ballot to be voted on the board of directors. But now I give you some softball news. I'll first start off with softball because we can say bring out the brooms. We took a nice victory there with Alabama A&M on Friday and Saturday, and when I was late getting to the game, and when I got there, someone said, "Oh man, they just scored 5 runs. We behind." Bases was loaded at that time. Sure enough, we scored the 3 runs, and then it was the bottom of the 7th inning, and the young lady came up. The lady that hit the double, she was on second base, and the next thing we know, it went out the park, 2-run home run. So we scored 5 runs in that inning. I couldn't stay to see the rest of it. I watched the second game, but we were up 2-0, and I left because I had to go over I had to go over the football game. So I went over to the football game, and so we won. Like I said, we swept all 3 games. The young lady that hit the home run was Amari Brown. Great young lady. And we were glad to see her hit the home run because we were suffering for a defeat before that. We are 14-4. Our next opponent is Bethune-Cookman. And we owe them one because when we went down there, they took 2 of the 3 games. So we would like to bring out the broom, but we ain't gonna be selfish. We just want to take at least 2 games. Okay, so that's the battle of the East Division is going on this weekend, and I think we play Friday at 2:00, and then we play the second game at 5:30. That's 2 games on Friday, and on Saturday we play at 1:00. So it's important. We gotta.
Hold on, I see your responses on there. Let me adjust that hashtag for the Cash App. I see the responses. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. All right, I thought I had made a mistake. The games at softball games at 3:00, and the second one is at 5:30. Okay, and Saturday at 1:00. Okay, so that's important. Okay, the game starts at 3 o'clock on Friday, 3 o'clock Friday. And the second game is a doubleheader Friday. Second game is at 5:30. And the last game will be Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Thank
Okay? All right. Okay. Um, so that's it for baseball. I mean softball. I saw baseball down there, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Um, Friday, we went out to Eda Benham, Mississippi. If you never heard of that one, you should be familiar with it now. But we went out to Eda Benham, Mississippi, and we played Mississippi Valley State. And believe it or not, we won the first game, 14-1, by Mr. Garrick Ortman. He was the pitcher there of the first game. We won the second game 5-4, and we lost on Sunday. So that kind of broke our winning streak on the road and also at home as well, because we had been sweeping everybody else. But in baseball, we played a game last night. We played a game last night against University of Central Florida, and we were unsuccessful there. We lost 5-1. But the other big game is coming up starting on Thursday. We play Bethune Cookman. The women are up here and we're down there. Now, that's important too, because we're tied for first place. So as the women are playing the division up here, we're going to be playing the division down there. So it's important that we wish our Rattlers on for victory down there. Hopefully we could win two of those games. If not, we'll take all three if they give them to us. Moving on to golf. If you're not a golfer, you would know that we play. It's three rounds. We have played the top 2 rounds. We started Monday, played yesterday, and we'll play the final. The final is today. Now, if you were a betting man, you'd go out and put all your money on the Rattlers, because we're carrying a 14-point lead going into the last game, going into today's game. So if like I said, if you were a betting man, I would venture to, and you can bet, you can take this to the bank. You could bet on the Rattlers will win the 2024 golf tournament. 2025, I'm sorry. 2025 golf tournament, okay? All right, you got it? All right, if they'll take that bet, y'all go ahead and bet on it, okay? One other nugget that I got for you, and we have a golf player, Marcus Taylor. You have to go to qualifying school to get on the golf tour. Well, Marcus Taylor went down to PGA and he came in second in the golf tournament. So, yeah, he hit that thing very well. So we want to congratulate Marcus Taylor. He's a former golfer here. So we want to thank him for qualifying for the tour. And we want to make sure that if you got any sponsorship available out there, you can see if you can get him some sponsors. Because, hey, if in 10 years, you could be winning the Masters. Okay? All right. Tennis, we are close up our season, and we are in New Orleans. So we got the tennis tournament in New Orleans.
Here, does that mean he gets his tour card?
He got his tour card. He was second. Yep, that's his tour card. Yeah. Okay. As I said, we're wrapping up tennis. We finished the season. We got the SWAC tournament. That's going on now. And men and women's track, we're playing we're competing to Tom Jones Invitational tournament that's in Gainesville, Florida. So the last that I want to elaborate on, and I'll let Coach Colzie do that, and that was if you didn't get a chance to make it to the spring game, you missed a treat. It was a little different. I've been to most of the spring games, but it was a little different this time around. And I'll let Coach Colzie come up and explain how different it was. But it was entertaining. It was really, it was entertaining. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Vaughn.
All right, thank you, Selma. Those online, we have corrected that cash out. And I'm gonna check with the person who manages that for us when Coach Colzie finishes, see the number. And I might have to lock these doors. Close the door. You did? Okay, I gotta check Alicia manages it for us, so I'm gonna check the number with her. We might be closing these doors down here at the enrichment center. Let me leave that alone before I get in trouble. No, can't sing. You have a good point. I can't sing, so I can't lock the doors. That was his statement. Okay, but anyway, like I said, for anyone who is online who is donating today, we are going to put those funds toward our nutrition campaign. If anybody here wants to donate to the nutrition campaign, Selvin, you remember that account number? We will get the account. Oh, here it is. Filled out. The account number is 2148 in the FAMU Foundation. If you're online and you'd like to go directly on the foundation page, 2148. 2148. That is our nutrition. Well, we're going to be asking everyone to please help us to make sure that we keep our athletes fed. We want to make sure that account is ready to go for the summer. You know, things are slowing down a little bit, but we need to build up because when the summer comes, that's when we really need to really hit it for our student athletes. Before I bring up Coach Colzie, now some money. Harry Demps and Devin Demps, another $100. Thank you. Thank you. Gwendolyn Thomas Norton, $500. Thank you. Thank you. Linda Lucas, Grand Rattler, $1,000. Thank you. Thank you. Moses and Lucy Coley, another $100 payment on theirs. Jimmy McDaniel, another $20 check. Thank you, brother. He sends this from out of town. Thank you for being diligent. We appreciate every amount. It can buy something. As Selvin was speaking, as I bring up Coach Colzie, he this Saturday, HBCU game day and the ONG strike zone combined for the post game, just because that would put three guys that knew about FAMU together. So if you haven't seen it with Brian Fulford and Kelvin Rozier, We had a great time, and you could tell it was three guys that were passionate about you. We have some footage from Set Friday, and we have some footage from something really exciting that happened last week that didn't get a lot of publicity. But the football team went over to the softball field and played the softball team in a home run derby.
Right.
That was one of the funnest times in the history of me being on FAMU's campus that I had. It was funny. It was a great competition. Softball coach don't want to admit how close it was, but it was 28-24. Those Rattler football players went over there, and coach said she thought they were just going to come out there and swing. They went to the batting cage and practiced and got out there and started knocking the ball out the park. It was 28-24. And if it hadn't been for Samantha, I can't remember Samantha's last name from the softball team, she started hitting balls on top of the batting cage on the 10 over there when they got close. So it was fun, huh? No, it's just batting practice pitching. And of course, the football players say they weren't pitching to them fairly too. The football players had a complaint. And then of course, the softball team to come do 1-on-1 as a football game. He said, "No, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen." But really, it was a great, great time. And I told VP Suggs next year when we do that, we have to let the public in. And there was a lot going on this week, so it would have been kind of really hard to publicize it as much. There was a good crowd there, but it's something that a lot of people would really love to see because it was fun. Coach Colzie was in the field. Fielding balls and all that good stuff, and
Still got it. I still got it.
he says he still got it. But we had a great time on Saturday at the Orange and Green game. Great time, great time. From I'm gonna leave that to coach to talk about. But we saw some great things. We saw some things we needed to see, and because of the way that they constructed the game in the showcase, it allowed those things that we needed to see to be concentrated on, which made me happy. So I'd like to bring up the head coach of the Florida A&M University Rattlers, James Colzie III.
Good afternoon, Rattlers. How are you? A couple side notes. Mr. Carl, we got to stop saying bet on the deal. Per NCAA, we are not allowed to bet. Now you can bet. I might give you something to bet. But we cannot bet on. Am I right? It didn't change, did it? I think you used the word bet 6 times when you were standing up there. And that's not necessary. We can't. Before you go, and I want to make sure I say, and I know it encompasses a lot of people, but Mr. Carl, I want to say thank you to you and Mr. Vaughn Wilson for the trophies. I think I texted Vaughn maybe Wednesday night asking about trophies. And the trophies that we gave out at halftime to our players came from you guys. And, being able to get those things done, incredibly important to our players and incredibly important to myself, the team, and just, it really, really allowed us to just show our guys how much I appreciated them for. Now, some of the awards we gave out top positions, right? Top quarterback, running back, O-line, and we go down that list. But then we also had some individual awards where it was the top walk-on, the most improved. We had the offensive player of the spring, the defensive player of the spring, and then we gave the Rattler of the spring. So, a lot of our guys, you could just tell from the awards and the names that we called out, guys who were they were well deserved. And trust me, I appreciate you for being able to get that done. And it was again important for myself and again for the guys to just so they can see the hard work that they had put in throughout the spring. Yes.
Came from boosters and.
Okay. Yes. Did not.
Award.
The trophies. Okay.
You didn't say yes, so it didn't come from the boosters too.
I thought yeah.
Not those trophies.
Not those. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
They came from me and Selvin on behalf of the two.
Yeah, that's why I specifically. Okay. All right, I wasn't wrong. I want to make sure. Okay. It sounds good. I want to make sure I thank the appropriate people. And we mentioned the spring game, and I promise I'll get to that. But we talked about the week the Tuesday, Family Day at the Capitol. Honored to be speaking in front of a lot of the alumni, a lot of the donors, the people that make the decisions, that hopefully can ensure our success. As he mentioned, the softball home run derby, we won that thing. I mean, I'm telling you, we won it. We took the lead. We actually started out. I think we were ahead because we hit first, right? And Robert Lockhart was hitting home runs. I mean, we had some guys hitting home runs that we actually didn't think could hit. Right? So some of my football guys might be playing the wrong sport. And then we were excited, and we're thinking we're gonna win. And I know the softball team was a little bit like, oh wow, these guys can actually hit the ball. And then the softball players slowly but surely started hitting the ball over in the bullpen and in the batting cage. So our us getting excited, it slowly started to dwindle for obvious reasons. So had an opportunity to do Friday night, got a chance to see Dr. Walker and a few other people at the gala, at the ballroom. And don't let this outfit fool you. Dr. Walker knows what she's doing when it's time to get dressed up. She knows what she's doing. That all led up, to getting ready for Saturday. I know that when we were thinking about the spring game, there's some universities that didn't even want to have a spring game. They don't even do them. School down the road didn't want to do one. A few other schools, they just did not want to do them for an abundance of reasons, but mainly because they didn't want other schools to have the opportunity to tamper or see what these other, see what some of these guys can do. So, for us, I wanted it to, when I spoke earlier, kind of wanted it to be a game, offense, split everybody up. But as Vaughn mentioned, I thought that it was going to be important to do some other things with the game. We wanted to put our teams in situations, right, that they would have to worry about once we get close to a football game, right? And if you guys noticed in the beginning of the scrimmage, we put our offense at a disadvantage. We backed them up and put them at the 7-yard line, right? And defense, since the offense was at a disadvantage, defense, we capitalized. I mean, we ended up with some sacks and some safeties. Now, I don't think y'all heard what I just said. The defense ended up with some sacks. And you got to understand, we've been trying to work on sacks for 365 days, right? Now, we are far improved as far as what we've done on our defensive line. But we opened the series that first series of plays with sacks. When we had a couple guys come in that we thought that we're going to be able to do a good job, and they did, right? But as we continued on with the scrimmage, we kept getting the offense closer, right? We were slowly but surely giving the defense. We were putting the defense at a disadvantage, and our offense was capitalizing. So, we had a little bit of a, the way we scored it, I wanted to make sure that no matter what we did, we always got rewarded. So, if the offense got a first down, they got a semblance of a point. If the defense made a stop on third down, always got a semblance of a point, right? If the defense had an interception, got points, right? So, obviously the touchdowns and the field goals, those totaled what they were supposed to total, but we just wanted to make sure that we covered every type of situation that we possibly can, and we still probably missed a couple of situations just because, we ended up running, I wanted to run 68 plays, and we actually ended up running 88 plays. So, again, I will say this, I think the most important thing for me was, yes, seeing our guys do what they needed to do. Knock on wood, we didn't have any injuries after the spring game, which again was very, very important. And then after that, I don't know if you guys remember when I spoke earlier, I said that we're supposed to have 15 practices, right? But we got back because of the snow. So in all reality, our spring game was our 13th practice. So we were supposed to have 2 more. We ended up only having 1 on Monday, and then I cut it. I felt we had got everything that we needed to do, so we did not necessarily, we were supposed to have our 15th practice today. I didn't have it. I just felt, hey, it was important for us this week. Our coordinators and our position coaches, they're going to do exit meetings this week, and then I will do my exit meetings with the team starting next week. I don't know if you guys know this, but today is the first day of the portal opening. So my phone has been blowing up for a lot of different reasons. The portal is open, and believe me, it is. Coach Simmons sent me a message this morning. It was more of a darn wake-up call to let me know that they might have a couple kids down, down by his way. But everybody's buzzing today about kids that are maybe dropping in the portal, having the opportunity to bring kids, to our university so they can see what everything's all about. But it'll be a busy 2 weeks for us because we will be having some guys that we will be maybe dismissing or cutting from our football team, but then we'll have an opportunity to bring some guys in and see what it's like to be here at Florida A&M. Now, last week we had 88 recruits here. 88. Now, don't tell Miss Suggs, because Miss Suggs wasn't able to charge them for the game, so they got in free. All right, so, but don't tell her. Don't tell her it was 88. Tell her it was just 8. Okay, but we had 88 recruits at the game on top of their parents, and we didn't have a huge itinerary for them. We wanted them to watch us warm up, sit in the stands, and get a glimpse of what it's like to be at a Florida A&M football game. We'll get a glimpse of what they would feel when they're on the field. And believe me, you guys did enough. It was a great showing. Again, obviously, we only had it on half the side, but getting the chance to just watch a game, look at the game, look at the stuff that's going on that's not at the game. You know what I mean? But they were, those 88 recruits were committing. I don't know what they were committing to, but they definitely wanted to be a part of what we're doing here in Tallahassee, Florida. So I'm excited. I'm happy. Yes, we still got some holes to fill, and I'm a heck of a lot different as far as confidence goes. Looking at what I'm hoping our team will look like right now than we may have been 365 days ago. Believe me, when you have 90 guys on the roster compared to the 55 to 56 that we may have had last year, obviously the expectations are still where they need to be. So after everything, happy for our guys. I think they made strides. We had 42 workouts that they've had. They had 8 OTAs, 13 practices, and before I started the spring, I told them that this is going to be the toughest spring they were ever part of. I wanted to see who was going to bend. I wanted to see who was going to break. I wanted to make sure that our guys that they were going to put everything that they needed to put in to make sure that we would get ready for the season. Now, spring is done, and I got to make sure, Dr. Walker, our guys finish academically strong. Right? I got to make sure we take care of our academics in the next 2 or 3 weeks. May 12th, our summer A and summer C sessions of summer school will start. We'll get back lifting, OTAing, meeting, and everything else once May 19th hits. Summer goes by quick, and it looks like we will start training camp on July 30th as we prepare ourselves for August 30th. A couple of my players were telling me, "Hey, Coach, look like you've lost a lot of weight." I said, I ain't eating here in about a month. So, but now, you're doing a good job of putting it back on today. I lost 25. I just put back on 8. So, it's a happy mix. But again, thank you for the support. Thank you for all you guys continue to do and will do. We got goals, and the expectations have not changed. It is to be the SWAC representative when we win the championship and being the representative of Celebration Bowl. Those are things we talk about. Those are things that we're going to put in motion. But it's stuff that we got to make sure that we do every single day. And I want to thank you guys for all your support, all your waves and your texts and all the things that you guys do for me every single day. Even when you have to give me advice, trust me, I take it. Believe me, I listen to it, whether it's good or bad. And I just want to say thank you for all you guys continue to do. I know there's going to be some questions, so I'm going to give you guys some time to make sure to ask and answer as much as I can.
Coach, the first question is going to come from online. And the question is, are you confident that we can get pressure on the quarterback with the front four?
One of our needs is to get a defensive end that we can do that with. We have specific needs for positions, whether it's offense or defense. And that's one of the big needs for us, because obviously being here for 3 years and watching the 22 and 23 season and watching us put pressure with 4, if I'm going to say one of our needs is trying to find a guy on the defensive end that can rush the passer so we don't have to pressure as much.
And one more question. Trayvon Davis said, did Eric Smith remind you of yourself at all?
Now, Eric Smith was a heck of a lot better player than I was, because he was a heck of a lot faster. And Eric ran a 4.3, but I guess the nose for the game, nose for the ball, probably about the same, but he was a much, much better athlete than I was. That's Eric Smith, number 8. I want to say he's talking about, absolutely. Yeah, I wish I was like Eric Smith, trust me, as opposed to the other way around.
Hey, Coach, I got to, before we pass this off, I just want to make a statement of something that Coach talked about, I think the last time he was here, in that last year, the entire season, the grass football field was not available to the team. They had to do all of their practices inside of the stadium. Anybody who knows about turf knows that it's not the best surface to be on all the time. But I like to thank the staff, because I saw the other day that field is starting to look really good. A lot of care has been taken to it. The second field is now being sand and aerated. So when we come back in the fall, we will have access to both of our grass fields. Most importantly, that bottom field. Because if anybody knows, if you can make it out of that pit,
Yes, sir.
you can play football at FAMU.
FAMU, absolutely. And just for the toll it takes on your body being on that, trust me, we got one of the best stadiums in the country, but there is a certain level of being on that field all the time, and the tone, the harm it can put on your body. Believe it or not, the last time we've practiced on that field was the last day of training camp of 2023. And obviously, parking and the whole nine, right? But when we should be practicing on our practice field, right? More so than practicing on our game field. So I'm excited to get that done. The man came out there about a month ago. I hugged him. He had no idea who I was. I was just hugging him. I just glad to see you on the field, sir. Glad to see you on the field. I think he called the police. I kind of ran out, but I just was hugging the man for being able to just be out there. And to answer your question, Dr. Walker, it's organized. We call it organized team activities, because you're allowed a certain amount of time with the guys. Right, so, but you can't just have them out there. There's got to be a schedule. There's got to be a set time. Hence the organized, and then you're doing everything as a team, right? But the funny part is, doing OTAs, if the coaches are out there, we can't have a ball. We can't have a ball out there. But once the coaches leave, you can put a ball out there. So, but that's what it's called, OTAs, or organized team activities.
Yes. So, about Saturday activities.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible, or will we be giving up too much information to pass out a flyer sheet on our players? We sat there in the stands and didn't know nothing from nothing about our individual players, our hometown players. We think we deserve at least a sheet with the roster of our hometown. Is it giving up too much information? Or?
Well, that was a great question, and I want you guys, don't be mad at me now. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Okay, a lot of our players were wearing different numbers for a reason. We had guys, and I'll give you an example. We had a guy that's supposed to be wearing number 1. He might have been wearing 18. Right? So it wasn't, at this level of pettiness that we have to be at as a football team, or where you guys find out who our guys are. We knew who they were, but just because if you wanted to find out about one of our guys, you had to do a lot of research to find out who that player was. So we had a lot of our players that weren't necessarily in their numbers, and we actually did that for a reason. And I'm sorry that occurred, but it was really, it was done on purpose, but not to you guys. It was just done, just for the simple fact that Goldie Lawrence wasn't wearing the number he normally wears. Right? But that was just because of worried about outside. Like and that's a great question. Normally you go to the spring game, you got the roster, you got the depth chart, all of that. I didn't even want people to even say our guys' names, even though you could, but I still wanted to make sure we did the game. Right? I still wanted to make sure we did our situations. I still wanted to make sure everyone could get opportunity to see us. Right, but it was done on purpose, but not maliciously, right? It was just so, if you want to know who our guys are, you got to do a lot of research, right? We didn't even want anybody filming the game. And we didn't even want any highlights or anything like that, right? It was just trying to be real particular about what we showed, you know what I mean? And just because of, we didn't know who may be watching.
And my highlights show no formation.
It was tight. No, I mean, quick story. One of my corners, he put out film yesterday on Twitter. Yeah, hey man, hey, what are you doing, bro? So and he put it out 2 minutes. It was in 2 minutes. My coaches alerted me, and then it was deleted in 2 minutes, just because of just at the level that we're at right now, right? It's just you just don't want anyone to know anybody. And now, if you ask me in 2 weeks when the portal closes, I'll tell you everybody who it was. I'll come in here with my own sheet for you. You know what I mean? But just because spring game Saturday, portal open today, we got 2 weeks where people can move in and out, and we're obviously gonna be trying to put our football team together. But when I come back, if you want to know who number 61 was playing wide receiver, I could probably help you with that after the fact.
Coach,
Yes, sir.
we will be busy in the portal.
Yes, sir.
We will be busy.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
in the situational football
Yes, sir.
game, well, not in the situations, Vince, why was most of them, the clock was stopped? You say we got a field goal try,
Yes.
and it was 20 seconds.
Yes, sir.
I think that clock should be running so the kids will know we got to get out of here on the field. We ain't got for 20 seconds.
Right. So
Yeah.
we were using it as, and you're right. We were using it as a situation that we had the ball, but we didn't have any timeouts left. So we had already called to stop the clock, but we needed to get closer. So that's why we ran the play. We put the ball in 20 seconds. That's why we ran the play. If you don't remember, the first time we ran it, the running back was running do, and he kept to the 8-yard line. And by the time he got down, we couldn't get on. I might have got a little bit upset. We did it again, right? He had to know where he was. He had to know on the clock. We ran the play. He slid down, and then we called hurricane field goal. That's why we did it. So if we had already used our last timeout, we needed to get closer, run the play, get everybody on and off the field so we could do that kick.
So the kids that was there on Saturday,
Yes, sir.
some of those kids will not be on the special teams come August.
Well, we just worked field goals, right?
Yeah.
We were just doing field goals, so a lot of the field goal unit is it's mostly the offensive line anyway. If you got there at 3 o'clock, now I didn't say this to a lot of people, if you got there at 3 o'clock, we worked special teams from 3 to 4. We did all our kicking, we did all of our punting, because everybody knew we were gonna start at 4 o'clock. So again, just being strategic with, I have a new special teams coordinator, so we're doing some new things on our punts and our kickoffs. So I did all of our special teams from 3 to 4 o'clock, and then once we got to the scrimmage, the only thing we did, if you noticed, we only did field goals. So depending on offensive line, depending on who's what, right, who our kicker is, or whatever the case may be, we're in the portal still looking for someone that I think can still kick the football. But for the most part, our field goal unit, I don't know if it's gonna be the same people, but those are normally offensive linemen and tight ends to begin with.
Coach,
Yes,
this is back to the practice field a minute.
yes, sir.
If the practice field won't be ready, will we need to get the cooling station this year?
I'm gonna say yes, because no matter, even if we weren't on even though we weren't on the practice field last year, if we practiced on our game field, them guys left the game field and went in the cooling station. They went. Like, they went. I mean, that was a need for sure. And then continue to say thank you for that. But like when practice was over, they didn't even let me speak. They just went through this. They just went through the building and went to the cooling station. It is easier from the practice field to just go to the cooling station and then go to the building. But we made it a point after every training camp, there was either a group or offense, defense that used that cooling station. You can't put the whole 105 guys in, so we had sectioned off times that could go in. You tell them 10 minutes, they be in there for 20. And a lot of times they were talking to me.
Hey, Coach.
Yes, sir. What's up, boss?
Yes, sir. Everything was okay. I still, and I know you're saying about who on the field and everything, but I look at position up, and lineman and assignment.
Yes, sir.
Lineman and assignment. And I noticed when come out, offense come out, they have two type of blocking: running block and passing block.
Mhm.
And I noticed on the running game they wanted pass for the running game,
Mhm.
and I was wondering what happened in there.
I think, when you go into the portal, offensive line ×4 is what we're looking for in regards to the portal. And I'm saying that's about how many I think we need, whether they're starters or building depth, right? And that's, we're gonna be, as far as position goes, that's one of the major positions for us. Because our first 6, I think, are pretty good, because 4 of the 6 are guys returning. My new offensive line coach, he wants to play at least 10 guys. He wants to be able to play his 1s and his 2s, and then mix them in as we play. So, I think based on coaching, what he's telling me and what I've seen, I think we got 6 good ones. We do have some young ones that they might surprise us during the summer. But I think we're gonna go in there with a top 10. And for us to get a top 10, I think we still need to get 4 more. Okay?
So, what are you looking for from the
Hold on, wait for the mic.
question is, Coach, what are you looking for from the portal this time around?
Well, offensive line, and I think we're still trying to get us a great defensive end. I need a guy that can rush the passer. I need a guy that can rush the passer like the guy we've had in the 22 and 23 season that was seriously lacking from the 24 season.
Saturday, you're not looking for no wide receiver from this time around?
One or two. I'm happy with. A lot of our guys that were returning receivers are returning. Not going to turn down a heck of a player. Everybody looked at the field, right? You look at the field, you see some of the holes, right? But if you look on the sidelines, there's a lot of guys that didn't play, that did not play, and are actually starters for us. T.J. Huggins was our starting corner, didn't play. Brian Norris, starting linebacker, didn't play. We had some guys that Andre Powell, starting safety, didn't play. So we still got some guys that did not participate in the scrimmage. But I'll reiterate this. We got some needs, and I think it's going to be important for us over these next couple weeks to fill them. Offensive line, to me, is the number one thing that I think we got to make sure we address. But we also got offensive linemen that return. These guys, 4 of the 5 guys started for us. Ricky Taylor, Ashton Grayboard, Charles Davis. These guys were starters, all Americans, all conference players for us. So for us, at that position, right? I think we need to build some depth, but still get some good players. Like we went and got the starting center at Coffeyville. He signed with us already. He's already committed. You know what city he's from? You know where he's from? Tallahassee. Tallahassee, Florida. He was at Child's High School, top center at Coffeyville. We went and got him, right? Got the running back from Child's. He went to Coffeyville, was an all-conference player. He wanted to come back home. Guess what? We're gonna bring him back home. So there are some things we need to fill. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you we got the best football team in the conference. We're a good team. We got some good players. We got some things we got to make sure we address, and that's what these 2 weeks are going to be extremely vital for us, just for everybody else in the country, right? But if I'm going to say number 1 need, offensive line, number 2 need, defensive end, probably a receiver, and maybe a quarterback, just so we can make sure we're taking advantage of all of the veteran relationships that we have on our football team. We need a quarterback that's going to take control. Hopefully Tyler Jefferson can maybe do that for us in the summer. But for us to be successful the last 4 years, well, at least the 3 years that I've been here, the all-conference quarterback was at Florida A&M. So for us to be what we need to be, our quarterback's got to be one of the best, got to be one of the tops. Yes.
Hey, Coach.
How are you?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Coach,
Yes, ma'am. We had 3 penalties, yes. We had 3. 3. 3 of them. Not 9, we had 3.
Coach,
Yes.
can we work, and I say we because I may have to come out there and help y'all out a little bit.
Okay.
But, can we work on, um, and I know it was practice, I know it was scrimmage and all of that, but in your practicing time,
Hmm?
let's work a little bit harder in starting out, um, with a powerful start and not try to be, do a catch-up thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we play, it's hard for us to catch up.
Right.
I've noticed that our team sometimes, they have a mental block when they try to have to catch up. When they get behind, if 1 touchdown behind or 2 touchdowns, then they kind of lose it. But if they start out hard, they can finish hard, but they got to keep going. They can't start out slow like offense did, and they got sacked and all of that and all that. But they got to start out hard.
And that's a great observation. I mean, so and because we've talked about it, what do we need to do to start better, right? And sometimes it's preparation. You know what I mean? We've asked ourselves, is there things that we can do in practice to have better starts? And now when you say the offense started off wrong, didn't start off right, well, we saw that as a win because that means the defense started out well, for the defense now. So is it something that we're doing in practice? Is it something that we're doing, preparation wise? Because you're bringing it up. I mean, we've discussed what do we need? Is there something that I can do better for us during practice to make sure that we're starting the way we need to start? Is it our pregame meal? Is it how we're traveling? Is it how we're stretching? These are all things that go through my mind over, this throughout the year. Like, why aren't we starting as well as we need to? And when I was an assistant, there were some times that we might not have started the way we needed to. So, it's great that you mentioned that because we have been just kind of reaching out to other coaches that have started well. And what were they doing? What was it they were doing? So we've trying to gain research and gather research on that. So believe me, we've talked about it. It's not something that we haven't really talked about or even thought about because we have. So yes.
Coach, I got a question about the running backs.
Yes.
Are we seeing anything that we're looking for in that area?
We have the best running back in the conference and maybe the best in the country. Thad Franklin, as well as the defense was playing, we were up and down, we had sacks, we had all that. And Thad Franklin ripped off one for 55 yards and he broke about 5 tackles, and that completely changed the outlook of the scrimmage. Bo Somerset, he's our second team back, but he had a lot of yards. I mean, we didn't even mention we signed a really, really good running back that didn't even scrimmage. He didn't even practice all spring because he was at Western Michigan. He broke his hand, so he wasn't able to participate. That's apparently going to be our 3rd team guy. And then the guy we signed from Coffeyville, he was all conference. He was all Jayhawk conference. Trey Jones coming from Charles High School. I think he was the Big Ben Player of the Year. You know what I mean? When he was in high school. So my running back coach, he better not ask for anybody else. He better try to find a fullback before anything else. We got enough of those.
Coach,
Yes.
Coach, I just want to say, I pointed out to Coach Wilson on Saturday
Yes.
that I didn't see anybody jump outside.
My offensive guys think I had the referee in my pockets. But we again, those are just things that we talk about the penalties, and for the most part, I mean, I'll say this, and I think I said this on OG, and I thought when I was talking to Vaughn on Saturday, we had 2 flags for hitting late, and then we had one guy who called in. It must have been his first interception ever, and he threw the ball so high up. I almost met him at the Rattler before the ball almost came down. Hey man, what are you doing? You know, but he made a great play. He assured me that it wouldn't do it again. Now the Nayron Jenkins flag, I'm gonna tell you, being on the sidelines, he was playing to the whistle. And if you don't blow the whistle, guess what Nayron Jenkins is gonna do? He's gonna hit you. So he did get the flag. I actually had to do the push-ups for him because they didn't blow the whistle. So I'm not gonna be too mad at Nayron. Yes, it was a flag, you know, but they got if you want to stop us, you gotta blow the whistle. So in all reality, I think we had one personal foul with the, you know, I don't even know what that even was when he threw it up, but for the celebration, and then we had the late hit, you know, and then the guy was getting to the football, and that's sometimes happens. So I thought we were a lot better with our penalties. You know, we had no offsides. That's always a plus. But you know, penalty wise, I thought we did a heck of a lot better than maybe we have done in the past.
Got time for 2 more.
Yeah, Coach, welcome back. Question, I think the portal opens today, right? And that's
It opened at 6 o'clock in the morning.
today. And I know you win some and you lose some.
Yes, sir.
First question, how do you feel about where you are with portals players that are, you know, talking or maybe leaving, and what you're having, you can't say what you got in the coming in, but you did mention also that you may have some going south, that may be following.
Well, you know, because of a lot of times in the portal, I'll kind of give you how we handle the portal. We're different from other schools, okay? So the young man gets into the portal, right? We don't. I mean, if you follow some of the portal things that when they send the people out, they tell you the school, they tell you the position, and then, you know, and maybe how many years they have left. And it's a non-stop ticker. Like it's just every minute. So our staff, because of the familiarity that we've known each other for a long time, been in other places together, we'll immediately call the coach. We won't even worry about the player yet. We'll see if we know a coach on the staff to talk about, you know, find out what he is, and, you know, get our background. We'll do our background first. And in that background, we'll kind of find out, you know, what you know, why is he leaving? You know, because you got a lot of guys that are in the portal. They're not leaving because they don't like the experience that they're at. They're in the portal just so the opportunity they can talk to other schools, right? That's, you know, the portal is a little bit different now than maybe what it was intended for. So for us, we look at the guy. If we know a guy on the staff that he was at, we'll call and we'll find out, right? So today has been a lot of what we call the research day, you know, because there's so many people now. No, you know, the quarterback at Tennessee that wants $4 million, we're probably not gonna call him. All right? You know, we can call him, but we'll just be practicing on how to talk to a recruit, because he's not gonna come here, right? So we try to iron out guys that we want, that we have interest in. So there's a lot of the, you know, we'll say a name of he went, James Colzie, wide receiver from Troy University, okay? The coaches that know, one of the coaches that know somebody at Troy, they'll make a phone call. And I have another coach that'll go online, see how much he played. You know what I mean? So that's our research that we'll do on the young man. And then once we come back with that information, we'll determine whether, you know, we want to entertain it or not. So for us, Florida kid, Georgia kid, Alabama kid, that's our general feel. If we're gonna go outside of those individual states, that means he's got to be what we call the show enough. If he's a show enough, it don't matter where he comes from. You know what I mean? Right? But if there's a guy coming from Texas and there's a guy coming from Florida, and we see them as an equal player, who we gonna get him? Where do you think we're gonna go get the kid from Florida? But guys from, you know, Jeremy Musa, show enough. He was in California. Isaiah Major, defensive player of the year, show enough. He was from Oklahoma. You know what I mean? So, but don't get me wrong, we'll get kids from all across the country, but they better be a what? And, you know, so if they're not one of those, we're going to stay within those states. Okay? Hey, everybody, thank you very, very much. I know I'll see you guys soon. And good luck. Good luck to the teams that are in the tournaments right now, man. Hey, we're gonna mess around and bring about 3 or 4 SWAC championships back. So make sure we take care of those teams as well. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks for coming through, Coach. Thank you. For those that are watching online, the Cash App is up there. I'm about to check it. We need you all to help us to donate to our nutrition campaign. That is what we're going to forward the resources to. All right. I was just checking the score of the golf, and FAMU is still in the lead going into the back nine. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that Coach Mike Rice and the team can bring that home. They are the reigning HBCU national champions, and we would love to add that SWAC trophy to the trophy case. So we got to keep our fingers crossed for Coach Rice and all those great players, and Moby Dillard, our former player, who is back as an assistant coach. And Eddie Evans, thank you. Eddie Evans was watching online, and he was just wanted to make sure that he made his donation to the right place. So he texted me. Thank you, Eddie, for your diligence in your donations. Once again, don't forget to see us. Reverend Wilson and I will be right here to help issue out the T-shirts and certificates for those of you that are our Grand Rattlers here. If you are not here, we are going to get with you to make arrangements to get you your Grand Rattler T-shirt and your certificates. Please go to 220qbclub.com and continue to donate as we continue our campaign to raise money for athletics. We're expecting a very big announcement later on today as we move forward with FAMU athletics. Board of Trustees is meeting at 3 o'clock, and there's a big hire on the agenda. And so that will be something we'll keep an eye on as we continue to support our team. So I will be in, they're not even, just for anybody that's want to follow the men playing Daytona, playing Bethune this weekend, is actually not being played in Daytona. It's being played in Sanford. It's being played in Sanford, Florida. So I'll be there Saturday for that finale game to root on our Rattlers. Already informed Coach Shute that we will be going down there to support the Rattlers to beat the Wildcats, as always. That's always the goal. Any other questions for the good of the order before we depart? All right, please keep an eye on your emails. We will be, Dr. Jackson, we wishing her safe travels on her journey. We know that her sorority, AKA, has a big convention that they're hosting in Tampa. And if you know anything about Dr. Jackson, if she a part of anything, she's a part of the organizers. So she is handling that. I gave her permission to leave and be off today. That's a statement Mr. Jackson will make, isn't it? That's really a Mr. Jackson statement. But anyway, we wish her safety, and we check your emails, and we will communicate with everyone. Once again, online, please continue to donate to the Cash App, and we're going to donate everything from the Cash App today to the nutrition. We want everybody to check your emails as it relates to next Wednesday. Obviously, with sports winding down, we will take some breaks. So we'd like everyone to please continue to check your emails as we contact you directly, as well as on our social media, because we will detail those dates when we'll be here and when we won't be here. We will call everyone who is a registered flip phone user. We will call you, boss man. We will give you a call. Leroy. All right. All the flip phone users, please let us know. We will call you. All right. All of my Grand Rattlers, please line up for Reverend Wilson so that we can take care of this. Those online, please continue to give. Thank you for joining us.